Netflix referring NBC News to a statement from Stapleton in which she said they lawfully obtained the footage. After a nearly 8-week trial, Combs was acquitted of the more serious charges of sex trafficking and racketeering.
You didn't do anything wrong on any front, and you've come to New York. If anyone's ever paying any attention to what you've actually been doing,
we're losing.
I am the fucking hardest hustler in the world. This is Savage Part 2. Don't tell me about shit. It's 2022 and I'm still a savage.
The moment it dropped, the entire internet froze. Netflix quietly updated the documentary with a new piece of footage, and within minutes, viewers realized this wasn't just another clip. This was the moment, the exact second Diddy's entire life snapped. You can literally watch the truth hit him. His eyes stop moving. His breathing shifts. His whole body locks up as he realizes it's over. No spin, no lawyers, no escape. For the first time ever, Netflix has released the footage Diddy spent years trying to bury, and once you see it, there is no going back. But before we break down this shocking moment frame by frame, tell me this, do you think Netflix released this clip for the truth or to protect themselves from something bigger? Let me know in the comments. And if you're new here, hit subscribe. You don't want to miss what comes next. The story begins in the most unexpected way. Not with a press release, not with a trailer, not with an announcement. Netflix said nothing. No promo, no warning. Just a silent update pushed to the documentary in the middle of the night. And at first, nobody noticed. Not even the hardcore followers who had watched the original version multiple times. But then one viewer posted on Reddit a simple, almost confused message. Did anyone else see this new scene? This wasn't here before? Within minutes, the post exploded. People scrubbing through their screens, double-checking timestamps, comparing old uploads to the new version. And when the confirmation came in that yes, Netflix had added a brand new hidden clip, that's when Twitter kicked off. Threads multiplying, creators reacting live, and investigators suddenly going silent as if they weren't sure what they were seeing. Because the footage didn't look like anything meant for the public. No lighting setup, no interview framing, no prepared questions, just a raw, unfiltered camera capturing a moment backstage, a moment Diddy never intended anyone to see. The clip begins innocently. Diddy walks into the private room behind the documentary set, adjusting his jacket, slightly smiling, making small talk with someone behind him. He's relaxed, confident, the same Diddy the world has always known, calculating, controlled, always one step ahead. He sits down, leans back, stretches a bit. He looks like a man who thinks he knows exactly how this interview is going to go. But then something shifts. A producer walks into frame, holding a tablet in both hands. No words, just a look. A look that instantly wipes the casual expression off Diddy's face. The room suddenly feels colder. Even through the screen, you sense the pressure rising. The producer hands Diddy the device, and from this moment, the tension is almost unbearable. Diddy takes the tablet with a forced calmness. He taps the screen. The footage begins playing, and then it happens. That moment, the moment his entire empire breaks. His eyes widen first, but just barely. A flicker, a glitch in the mask. Then his jaw tightens. His fingers curl around the edge of the tablet. He stops blinking. The slow inhale through the nose, the subtle tremble in his lower lip, all caught in brutal HD clarity. And this is where viewers online first began commenting things like, "I've never seen him look like that." This is the face of someone who knows he's done. Whatever he's watching, he never expected it to surface. But the footage intensifies. Diddy lowers the tablet slightly. Not enough for the camera to catch what he's seeing. Netflix blurred that intentionally, but enough to reveal his expression entirely. His breathing quickens. His shoulders drop. He suddenly looks smaller, almost shrinking into the chair. And then, in a voice so quiet that the original documentary barely picked it up, he mutters, "How did they get this?" At this point, investigators online began dissecting every frame. What footage was he shown? Who gave it to Netflix? Why now? Why this exact moment? But the clip doesn't stop there. Someone off camera whispers something the internet is still arguing about. The sound is faint, distorted, but Netflix left it in on purpose. You can't make out the full sentence, but you can clearly hear the last few words. They already know. The second that sentence hits the air, Diddy's face changes. Not shock, panic, not confusion, acceptance. Like someone just flipped a switch inside him. His hand goes instantly to his forehead. His knee starts bouncing uncontrollably. He puts the tablet down on the table as if it suddenly became too heavy to hold. He whispers again, but this time Netflix decided not to blur the audio. They weren't supposed to have this. And that is where the first major wave of viewers lost their minds. Because that sentence implies so much more than fear. It implies knowledge. Knowledge that something existed, something damaging, something buried, something he believed would never reach the public eye. And Netflix chose this exact moment to reveal it. As the clip continues, Diddy stands up abruptly. The chair scrapes loudly against the floor. He turns his back to the camera, hands gripping the edge of a counter, breathing unevenly. A second producer enters, and though the microphone only catches fragments, you can hear Diddy demanding something: a call, a confirmation, a guarantee. His tone isn't confident anymore. It's desperate. I need to know who leaked that. I need the audio cuts. Viewers online immediately pointed out the significance of Netflix leaving the cut intact. It wasn't an editing mistake, it was a message. Netflix wanted viewers to feel the interruption, the sudden void, the silence that means there's more to the story. The clip ends with Diddy turning around, eyes hollow, voice low, whispering one final line that has now gone viral across every platform. Tell them that cannot be in the final cut. Except now, it is. And Netflix didn't just include it, they buried it in the updated version, knowing that once the internet found it, the clip would explode far beyond anything a marketing campaign could have created. And explode it did. Within hours, millions had seen it. Within a day, analysts were calling it the moment Diddy realized he was finished. And within a week, this single hidden clip had become the most discussed piece of footage in the entire documentary. But what exactly is this footage he watched on the tablet? Why did it break him so instantly? Who whispered, "They already know"? And why did Netflix unleash it now? The screen fades back in exactly where we left off the moment Diddy mutters, "They weren't supposed to have this." For most viewers, that was the line that sent a chill straight down their spine. Not because of the words alone, but because of the way he said them. Slow, shaking, like a man trying to keep control of a world already slipping through his fingers. And that is where the deeper story begins, because the new Netflix footage doesn't just show Diddy reacting, it shows something far more revealing. It shows a man who already knew what was coming. As investigators and analysts began slowing down the clip, enhancing the audio, and dissecting every frame, one thing became clear. Diddy wasn't surprised by the existence of the footage, he was surprised it leaked. That difference changes everything. The moment picks up with Diddy pacing across the back room, phone in hand, moving with the frantic energy of someone searching for answers that simply aren't there. The camera remains steady, catching every shaky inhale, every half-finished sentence, every glance toward the producer standing frozen at the doorway. The producer looks uncomfortable, almost guilty, as if even they didn't expect Netflix to push this far. What makes this part of the clip so disturbing is how real it feels. There's no PR team filtering him, no controlled environment, no rehearsed statements, just raw panic, the kind of panic only seen when someone realizes the truth is out of their hands. One investigator pointed out something chilling. When Diddy looks at the tablet, he doesn't say, "What is this?" He doesn't say, "Where did this come from?" He immediately says, "How did they get this?" That implies he always knew what the footage was, he always knew the tape existed, and he always believed it was hidden well enough to never surface. But Netflix didn't just surface it, they showed it to the world. Inside the documentary update, Netflix slows down the moment Diddy's face collapses frame by frame, capturing his pupils dilating, his breathing stopping, his hands stiffening. They freeze the image right as his lips part in disbelief. Underneath the frame, a small caption appears. "Recorded before the interview. Audio enhanced for clarity." That tiny message changed the entire context of the documentary. Because enhanced audio means Netflix wanted viewers to hear everything. Every whisper, every panicked breath, every slip of truth he tried to hide. The enhanced track reveals something most people miss the first time: a faint voice behind the camera. Someone telling him, quietly but clearly, they already know. That single sentence caused chaos online. Who said it? What did they mean? And what exactly did people already know? Two theories started trending almost instantly. The first theory suggested that the voice came from a Netflix producer, informing Diddy that investigators were already aware of the footage he feared. The second theory was darker: that someone on Diddy's own team whispered it, meaning the betrayal came from inside his circle. But the third theory, the one nobody wanted to believe, said the voice didn't belong to anyone in the room at all. Some viewers claimed the voice sounded like it came from a recording playing on Diddy's tablet, a line spoken in the leaked footage itself. If that theory is true, then the footage shown to him could be far worse than anyone initially assumed. Meanwhile, behind the scenes at Netflix, another story was unfolding, one the public didn't see. A whistleblower later claimed the team had been arguing for months over whether or not to release this clip. One group believed the footage shouldn't be part of the documentary at all, fearing legal backlash and potential threats. Another group argued that if the documentary was meant to reveal the truth, this moment had to be included. The whistleblower said the fight got so heated that Netflix temporarily locked the footage behind restricted access. Only 5 people in the entire building were allowed to view it, and yet somehow it still made it into the final cut. When this whistleblower was asked why Netflix changed their mind, their answer was cryptic, because what happened after this moment was even worse. That single sentence ignited the internet all over again. As part 2 of the clip continues, Diddy is seen arguing with someone on the phone. His voice is sharp, almost broken, and although Netflix cut the audio for much of this sequence, a few words escaped the silence enough to understand the panic. It wasn't supposed to come out. Not now. Shut it down. Shut everything down. He keeps pacing, his movements becoming more erratic, more agitated, until finally he stops and presses both hands against the wall as if trying to hold himself upright. He's not talking like a celebrity caught in a scandal. He's talking like a man watching the ground collapse beneath him. Then comes the part that hit viewers hardest. Diddy sits back down. His hands drop to his knees. He stares straight ahead, no blinking, no breathing, no fight left in his expression, and Netflix freezes the frame. The caption appears. The moment he realized everything had changed. That freeze frame alone sparked thousands of reaction videos, people comparing it to the exact moment other celebrities realized their careers were over. Body language experts pointed out how his shoulders slump, how his chest doesn't expand, how his jaw loosens, signs of total defeat. One expert even said, "This isn't the face of someone who's worried, it's the face of someone who knows." Part 2 of the documentary update ends with a close-up shot of the tablet on the table, still playing the blurred-out footage. The camera doesn't show the video, but the audio in the background catches a faint, disturbing sound. A voice, a confrontation, a noise that sent viewers searching for answers. And then the screen fades to black. Netflix gives no explanation, no context, no statement, just silence. A silence that tells the audience, there's more. Much more. And Netflix hasn't shown all of it. Now the question becomes, what happened after this moment? What did Diddy realize that left him frozen? And why did Netflix choose now to release this clip? The world didn't take long to react. Within minutes of the new footage surfacing, social media erupted into a firestorm unlike anything the documentary had triggered before. Clips of Diddy's face frozen in that exact second of collapse were everywhere. On TikTok, people stitched it with theories. On Twitter, the still frame became a meme, an analysis, a warning, depending on who shared it. On YouTube, breakdown channels pushed live reactions, trying to decode every breath, every twitch, every whispered word. But while the internet was dissecting the expression on Diddy's face, something far more important was happening behind the scenes, something the public didn't see. According to an insider, who later spoke anonymously, Netflix didn't drop this footage casually or accidentally. They waited, they watched, they timed it, and they released it only after receiving information that made holding back the clip impossible. The insider claimed there were new statements, New testimonies, new evidence pieces that aligned perfectly with whatever Diddy saw on that tablet. Pieces that made this moment not just revealing, but historic. As the final part of this update begins, Netflix shows a montage of news segments reacting to the leaked footage. Analysts discussing professional panic behaviors, lawyers explaining how body language can imply prior knowledge of wrongdoing, former industry insiders hinting that the moment Diddy collapses is the closest thing to a confession the public is ever going to get. But Netflix doesn't stop there. They cut to a new interview recorded just weeks before the update. A former crew member from Diddy's inner circle sits in shadow, voice altered, face blurred. They refuse to reveal their identity, but their words hit harder than anything shown so far. When he saw that footage, the voice says, he wasn't shocked because it existed. He was shocked because he thought everyone involved had buried it for good. This line was enough to reopen every theory. What exactly had been buried? Who helped hide it? Why did Netflix get access now? The anonymous source goes on. He called 3 people right after that moment. 3. And all 3 of them knew exactly what he meant when he said, they weren't supposed to have this. That's why he panicked. He knew the lie was dying, and there was nothing left to protect it. As the footage continues, Netflix reveals a timeline that wasn't public before. Hours after Diddy's breakdown, lawyers began contacting Netflix. There were inquiries, requests, attempts to delay the release, even suggestions that certain scenes be re-examined for legal sensitivity. Netflix refused, boldly, firmly, without hesitation. The documentary cuts to a producer who worked on the project. Their name is withheld, but their message is shown unedited. We believe the world deserved to see the unfiltered truth, his truth, not the version crafted by money or influence, but the version that slips out when the cameras aren't supposed to be rolling. This moment reframed the entire narrative for audiences, because this wasn't just scandal footage. It wasn't a random leak. It was a window, a brutally honest window, into the instant a man who had built an empire on control finally lost it. And then Netflix reveals something that sent shockwaves through the entire industry. There is more footage, not rumors, not speculation, not internet fantasy. Real unreleased material sitting in Netflix vaults withheld for now, pending legal clearance and internal review. A producer says off camera, that clip you saw, that wasn't the most explosive moment. That was just the moment he broke. What comes after decides everything. And suddenly, the entire documentary shifts tone. It stops being a story about the past and becomes a countdown to something bigger. Netflix cuts to a slow-motion replay of Diddy lifting his head after staring at the tablet. His eyes empty, widened just enough to show fear, the kind of fear that doesn't fade with time. The narrator's voice in the documentary says, in that moment, he wasn't worried about opinions. He wasn't worried about the documentary. He wasn't even worried about the internet. He was worried about what comes next when the world sees what he always hoped would stay buried. And that's where the experts step in. Legal analysts claim this moment could be used to demonstrate consciousness of guilt. Psychologists argue his reaction isn't defensive, it's resigned. Industry veterans say you can tell when a person knows a chapter has closed and a new, darker one is beginning. But what truly turned this moment into a cultural earthquake was 50 Cent's reaction. Within hours of the footage dropping, 50 Cent posted a cryptic image on Instagram, a still frame of Diddy staring at the tablet with the caption, "Y'all ain't seen nothing yet." That broke the internet again. People began theorizing that 50 Cent had access to the unreleased tapes. Memes exploded. Rumors spread that more leaks were coming. Netflix didn't deny it. They didn't confirm it either. They simply stated the documentary may see additional updates, which is the platform's polite way of saying there's more coming. And that brings us to the final and most haunting part of this entire story. The documentary closes with a quiet shot, the camera lingering on an empty interview chair, the same chair Diddy was supposed to sit in right after watching the footage. He never returned to it. The interview was canceled. The room remained empty. The camera kept recording, and Netflix chose to end the update with that silent, empty frame, as if symbolizing the moment his voice no longer controlled the narrative. The music drops out. The screen darkens. And a final line appears. If this was the moment he realized he was finished, then what comes next may be the moment everyone realizes why. The update ends. No explanation, no commentary, just room for the chilling truth to settle. And whether viewers believe Diddy deserves this downfall or not, one thing is certain. The world is no longer waiting for answers. The world is watching for the next leak. Because if this moment shook the internet this violently, the next one might break it completely. And that is where Netflix wants the world's eyes. Now the question becomes, are you ready for what comes next? Before you go, tell me in the comments, do you believe Netflix is holding back the most explosive footage on purpose? And if you're new here, make sure you subscribe to The Hidden Evidence so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding story. The truth is only getting louder.